Now, my term of people thinking they're going to kill somebody, I know might be a little bit over the top, but in some ways, that is what you guys are trying to accomplish, is keep people from bad things happening by appointment, as you said.
Yep, that's exactly right. I think you're right. Not everybody is worried about getting killed, but assaults happen and robberies happen and crimes do happen. And, the internet is a really great place for virtual world of meeting people and getting your products, whether it's a listing for a house or selling your car. It's fantastic to get it exposed to a lot of people, but you really don't know who those people are. And unfortunately, some of them have ulterior motives. And Secure Show is specifically designed to try to weed out the people with ulterior motives and bring in and sort of open the world to a more safer meeting in real time.
So tell us a little bit about what it is exactly.
Well, Secure Show is an online ID verification service. You can use smartphones or tablets or computers. And all you need really is...
For the old school people who still use computers.
Yes. There are a few of us left. And so using any of those sources, actually, you upload a driver's license, copy of your driver's license, and we put that on a really high secure server, and a current photo, not one that you've saved on your desktop, but a current photo so that we can actually match the photo that you have now uploaded with the photo on your driver's license. We also verify email. We verify a cell phone via text message. And then we compare the data that you've input into the system with what the driver's license actually shows. And then we also do a further validation of the driver's license. And once all criteria has been met, we actually approve the person who's requested the verification. That person can then send a request to somebody else. So if I have a car, somebody emails me and says, I want to see the car, I can send them a request via email to get verified. Once they're verified, they go through the same process I go through. And once they're verified, we each get a certificate, which you can download on your smartphone or print out for those of us old school.
Sure. Printers are good.
Yep, printers are cool. And the certificate actually has a match code that's just unique to that meeting. It has the other person's photo and their name, and actually a list of steps to take to make the meeting even safer. Just pretty, common sense kinds of things that we tend to overlook.
Now, you talk about, this is to avoid crime in a lot of places, and there's a lot of fear of, like we talked about, getting assaulted, getting hurt. You call it crime by appointment. Why is that? Actually,
that's not a term that I coined. It's a term that the media has coined because it happens so often. There's two terms we run across: crimes by appointment and robbery by appointment. And crimes by appointment is literally where someone who has ulterior motives contacts somebody who has something for sale or for rent, a house for rent, whatever, and they set up an appointment with that person. That person walks into a situation which is basically an ambush, and a crime is committed. Robbery by appointment is very similar, but that is, say, I have something that's too large to carry to a third place, a neutral place, to meet the buyer. So they say, I want to come to your house to see it. How about 3? And you say, you know what? I work Monday through Friday, don't get home till 5:30. It's got to be later. They now know your schedule and your address. And while you're at work, they come and help themselves to whatever they want.
Interesting. And so what was the inspiration to create this? Because it seems like it's pretty brilliant, actually, that, this is happening. You hear about it on the news. It's not uncommon. What was your inspiration?
My inspiration was actually an aha moment for me personally. As a real estate broker, I get most of my first contact is made via email. Most recently, it's been text messaging, which I feel is even once removed, from an email. So I'll get an email or a text or maybe a phone call. I may have a first name, maybe a last name that somebody has given me, and the request is for me to show them a house. The house is largely vacant these days. And even if it's not vacant, if there's somebody living in it, they very often leave so that I can show it. So I pulled up to a house one day. This is a true story. I pulled up to a house one day. The house was vacant. It was a foreclosed home. I had received an email from somebody who gave me initials for their name. And I was sitting in my car outside, and I was sort of looking for somebody who was looking for me. As I did that, I reached up. It was winter, and I had a scarf around my jacket. I literally took the scarf off and put it in the seat next to me. Wasn't really thinking about it. And then it occurred to me that I had just done that, and I did it regularly. And the aha moment was when I realized I did that because that could be used. My fear was that could be used as a weapon against me.
Your scarf.
My scarf. If alone in a house with a stranger. And it was a turning point. It was a real, thud, because nothing ever looked the same after that. So I started to search for any kind of verification process, and I couldn't find anything. So I built one.
So you built one.
One.
Just like what everybody does when they can't find something, right? Well, kudos to you. I mean, of course, this is not a fast process. You know, at the very beginning of the show, we talked about just the silver bullet to starting a company. And Dennis had brought up, things don't happen overnight. You've spent a lot of time to build this. Now it's starting to release. Who can use Secure Show?
Anybody can use Secure Show as long as you're 14 years or older. You need to have a valid state ID, driver's license, or passport. And right now we're focusing on North America. Eventually, we can broaden that. We've actually had requests from Mexico already. But so 14 years or older, state ID, driver's license, or passport is all that's required.
And so when you do this, what become the big benefits? I mean, why do people use it?
I think there are a lot. I continually hear more, but obviously you get to know that the person who kind of is who they say they are. We've gone through a verification process. That doesn't mean don't use common sense, but it's a really major step toward believing the person is who they say they are. I also think it's a fantastic deterrent. I think if somebody does have ulterior motives, it's sort of like if somebody wants to rob a house and they walk up to a house with an ADT sticker out front, they're probably going to walk to the house next door.
Right.
So, with using that analogy, I think Secure Show offers that.
It's just a barrier to entry almost.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and that would make a lot of sense because if, like you said, if somebody's going to go rob you now, they have to go provide all this information, you might be thinking, why would I do this? Let's just move on.
Right.
Is it expensive for people to do?
Not at all. In fact, our goal is to make it affordable and accessible for everyone. So the most expensive is a single verification, and that's $6.95. And once a person is verified, you're verified for a year or upon expiration of your ID, whatever comes first. And so $6.95 being the most expensive, you can buy them in blocks of 5 for $6.50 a piece, blocks of 10 for $5.95. I buy them for my company, and all the brokers in my company use them. And the price goes down, of course.
And it's yours.
Yes, it's true. It is true, but I pay anyway.
I get it. Lynn Robertson joins us, a broker and owner of Your Seattle Home Team and SecureShow.com. What's your goal with this? I mean, you talk about coming from the real estate industry. It started as the kind of this piece for open houses. It's now evolved to to being used all across the internet, whether it's online classifieds or open houses or whatever else, I guess, reasons people meet. Dating, you had mentioned. Mm-hmm. Where do you see this going? What's your goal with it?
Well, the goal is really just to continue to get out there so that people have an option to sort of take what the virtual world has created into the real world, to give people a little bit. I think a lot of people hold back on in-person meetings because there's a little hesitancy. Is this person who they say they are? To open that door and to sort of bring us all back together again from an isolated place and in a very much more safe fashion.